Hey guys, it's Andy here from the Brickies Network again. I just wanted to have a quick chat with you. I've had a guy, Justin, call me. He's a young kid. He's keen to go out and have a crack on his own. And he has said, what do I do about getting my price right? I said to him, I haven't got time to explain it to you, but I'll put it up on YouTube so you can understand what I mean when it comes to the cycle of price and what happens when you get caught up in this vicious cycle. It's absolutely horrible. So what ends up happening is most guys, they start ringing around all their other mates and finding out and seeing what everyone else is charging. So they start ringing around, they ring a builder, they see what everyone else is charging just to find out what's going on. And that's the first step that they do. And then what they usually do is they'll go and they'll take an average of all of those prices. They'll think about what those prices are and they'll just take an average of it. So that's what everyone sort of seems to do. And then normally what tends to happen is they go slightly below that price just to be competitive. Just to be competitive, they go slightly below the price, which is absolutely shocking because they're just bridging it off everyone else, you know? So then they'll go and provide their customers just a little bit more than the other brickie, just a little bit more, you know? So that way they're being competitive, but they're doing a little bit more, which gives them this horrible equation. So you end up with a value proposition of more for less. Absolutely horrible, and it is a race to the bottom. It's a race to the lowest price. But the problem is with this is you've taken an average here, an average of everyone else, and you've gone slightly below that. The problem is, what if all the other guys are going broke? If they're already going broke, you're taking an average of a price of everyone else that's going broke, that's not even running at a profitable cost, and all you're doing is pushing the price further and further down. Don't take any notice of what everyone else is charging, because you're not going to be able to know until you work out your own sums. If you do this equation here, it's just a shitty value equation. You've got to get out of that because it's just a race to the bottom in price. So if you can imagine that this is a graph of value. This is value, right? And this is your price. This is your price line. So there's a point here where you can still make money. You're still making money. You're still making money up here. You're making money. You're making money. You go down this and you keep dropping the value to suit the price, because that's what ends up happening when you're dropping the price and you're just doing trying to do a little bit more for a little bit less. Your price just goes down. But then you get to a point where you're not making any money anymore. You're not making any money anymore. Oh no. You're not making any money and you go down here. And the only place you can go to is working for $0. That's the only place you can get to. So you'll get to a point where somewhere on this axis here, you have to get out. You can't do the job. You've got to say no. Say no to the work, because you're just so far down that you can't give any more for any less. It's an absolutely horrible place to be. So what you need to do is, for that price, instead of doing a little bit more for a little bit less, you have to start doing more. More value. You have to start providing more value at a little bit higher price, because you can always keep pushing your value up and therefore getting your price up depending on how you add value. And that's another discussion that we can have at another day about how we can add more value to get more price. But the problem is you just can't keep going down here, because it's just the route to the bottom, and there's no future in that for any business owner. I'll explain a little bit more about what happens with your business and your customers, with what happens when you put your prices up and add value, and what happens when you put your prices down and have to do less even though you're trying to do more because you can't afford to. I'll explain that in a minute. So now have a look at this equation of the bad cycle of price and what happens in regards to your clients and what happens with your business. So if we've got our prices or our dollars going down on this side and your prices going up on the other side, when your prices go down, the emotional investment of your clients decreases. They're not as invested because they're not paying as much money. Their perceived value is down. They're cheapskates. They don't see much value in it, so that's it. And results are down. Results are down because the clients aren't really happy. The demandingness of the client, it goes up because they're cheapskates again. They don't want to pay as much money, so they want to get every bang for buck out of whatever they've had. And the customer fulfillment goes down. But then you flip it around the other side, if we put our prices up, here, then the emotional investment from the customer, it's going to go higher. They're going to see that there's more value in what you're selling. And then their perceived value and the results that you're going to get for that value have gone up. That's what the customer's going to see. This is what the client's going to see, and this is what they're going to feel. Their demandingness will go down. Have we all ever done a job for someone that never quibbled about the price, and when they did it, they happily handed over the check and they were absolutely wrapped? That's just what happens. I can't tell you exactly why that happens, but that's what happens. So the customer fulfillment has gone up. Absolutely gone through the roof. Absolutely fantastic. But then if we wipe, well, I'm going to wipe that off there because let's not look at that again. And let's just see the impacts for your business. This is what happens with your business. When your prices are on the down price, a squiggly little arrow there, right? When you're going down in your price, this is what happens to your business. Your profit goes down. Your own perceived value goes down. You know that you're not doing as good, you can't do as good a job because of the money. You have less impact and result because of that money and that price drop. And this is all because we didn't calculate it properly at the start and we got caught in this rotten cycle. Our level of service goes down. We can't serve the clients as much if we're not getting paid to do that. There's only a certain amount we can provide. So that's exactly it. And then you and your team, your belief in that you can deliver a good product for that price, it just goes down. You don't believe you can do it because you know you're just not making enough money. But if we put our prices up, if we add more value and put our prices up, our profits will go up. That's just inevitable. It's going to go up. And we're going to feel better about ourselves. 100% we'll just feel better about ourselves, and our own perceived value is going to be much better. We can give more impact and better results for the customers, straight up and down. They're really, really important stuff. And of course, our level of service goes through the roof as well. And our belief in ourselves as bricklayers to do a better job and give the best possible outcome, our belief in ourselves goes through the roof. This is the impact of that horribly bad cycle of price, and we've all been guilty of getting into that. I was guilty of it for probably 10 years in my business. It was absolutely horrible. But once we learn how to add more value for a better price, the clients end up being better clients and happier, and we as a business owner are better business to provide better service to our customers. That's it from me. I'm really glad that you could sit down and have a listen to this information. It was a bit squiggly on the board and it was all a bit choppy and changey, but hopefully the value is taken in really good stead.